Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice of Radio. So today, we need to take a little bit of a look at all of the Wii U Pokemon games you need to go and buy before it's too late. The other day, I showed you a list of 3DS Pokemon games you need to go and get. Well, today, ladies and gentlemen, today we're talking Wii U, which is a very different kind of list, but still a very important list. Because if we start off with the only physical Pokemon release that the Wii U had, it's Pokmon Tournament. And if I could be so bold as to say so, yeah, don't buy this. And it's not because I don't think Pokemon is a great game. I absolutely think that Pokemon is a phenomenal game, and I casted this. There were 4 events where I was an official Pokemon caster for this game. I have nothing but love for this game. When I bought it on the Switch, I was going to trade in my copy of Pokmon Tournament, but I didn't because I couldn't bear to give it up because I love this game so much. But yeah, it's out on the Switch, and the Switch version has more characters, so there is no reason to buy this on the Wii U. Plus, it's 50 quid on the eShop. I'm once again using English prices just because it's easier. It's the same kind of thing over in the US, but it's easier for me to stick here. If you really want a copy of Pokmon Tournament on the Wii U, and I don't know why you would, it's the same game, but the servers are empty, and it doesn't have the extra characters that the Switch version has. Switch has some extra characters, and then has got DLC, which you should definitely get. So yeah, there is no reason at all to pick this up. If you really want a copy, you can buy a second-hand box copy for 8 quid. Now, what I will say is, if you can pick up a copy with the Mewtwo Amiibo card, yes, that Mewtwo Amiibo card is awesome, and that is a reason to pick it up. It's a weird, random collectible, which I'm very happy to have in my collection. If you can go and get that Shadow Mewtwo Amiibo card, yes, that's cool. Outside of that, no. That is the only reason to pick it up on the Wii U. But that was the only boxed Pokemon game, the only physical release we ever got. The other Wii U only Pokemon game was Pokemon Rumble U, and this is kind of an odd one because look, straight off the bat, Pokemon Rumble U is exclusive to the Wii U. It's only £13.50, and frankly, this is going away. So if you want to have these Pokemon games available, you need this. You need to go and pick this up before the eShop closes. There are other Pokemon Rumble games out there. There are a couple of them on the 3DS, but they're not this exact game, so it might be worth picking up. Plus, it is worth pointing out, does work with those NFT Pokemon Rumble figures, which are kind of cool. Man, I wish I bought more of them at the time. So this is one where if you're thinking about picking it up, you really should, because you are running out of time. And that's basically it in terms of Wii U games, but there are a bunch of non-Wii U games that you should be picking up on the Wii U before it's too late. Now, the weirdest one for me is Pokmon Park, because there was a pair of games, and they're called Pokmon Park, and they were available on the Wii, and for some reason I don't really understand, one of them was made available on the Wii U, that was the original, but the sequel never was. Now, I will say for 18 quid, this is not a bad price. These are not stunning games. These are kind of younger skewed, run around the park, do a few activities. These are not amazing games. But, again, if you want to be a Pokemon completionist, if you want to be playing these games, we are kind of running out of time. What I will say is, if we use CEX as an example, just because, as I said in the previous video, this is where a bunch of people tend to pick up secondhand games in the UK. So it's just a nice kind of, let's use it for everything, it gives you a nice rough guess. These games have been picked up boxed for 25 quid. Now, the second one isn't on the Wii U, so that's a moot point. It is, at this point, slightly cheaper to pick up a digital version, but honestly, because you can pick up a physical version quite cheap, that's generally what I would recommend you doing. It's up to you, of course, but that would be my recommendation. However, Pokemon Ranger, these are games that you should be running to pick up on the Wii U as fast as physically possible. Now, these are DS games. They use a stylus to catch Pokemon, but again, you can do that on the Wii U. And right now, you can pick up a trio of Pokemon Ranger games on the Wii U really quite cheap. The original can be picked up for £9, and the 2 sequels can be picked up for £6.30 each. These are incredibly cheap, and these are fun, unique, different Pokemon games. This series seems to have kind of come to an end, although you never know if they're going to bring it back. But these are quite unique games. The thing is, picking up secondhand copies of them, these aren't ridiculous, but they are starting to creep up in price. I've got the original Pokemon Ranger, of course that's the cheap one, but that's £22, and the other two are 28 and 32 quid. These are creeping up to 30 quid games, which isn't hideously expensive, but you can pick them up for like 6 quid on the eShop. So it is significantly cheaper to pick these up on your Wii U than go and try and find physical versions of them. So the Pokemon Ranger games are ones that I would recommend quite highly that you should be trying to pick up sooner rather than later. And while we're talking about, series of games which are cheap to pick up on the Wii U, how about the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon games? Now, these are Game Boy Advance games. One of them was, the other two are DS games. But we got Mystery Dungeon Red Rescue Team, which can be picked up for £6.30, Blue Rescue Team, which can be picked up for £9, and Explorers of the Sky, which can be picked up for £9. And we've got the fancy version on the Switch, which I'm a big fan of, incidentally. So you don't have to go and pick this one up like that. And they're not all on there. Like, not all the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon games are on there, but a few of them are. And the fact of the matter is that actually these are cheaper. Explorers of the Sky is apparently a game which is a little bit difficult to get hold of now, because this is being sold in the, in CEX, the secondhand UK shop for games, 60 quid. That's an expensive game. So you can pay 60 quid for a box version, and if you can afford it, that's lovely. Or you can go and pick it up on the eShop for £9. Well, I cannot be the only one that thinks this is a bit of a better deal. The Red Rescue and Blue Rescue teams can be picked up for around about 20 quid, which is better. But again, you can pick them up for 6 quid on the eShop. So these are other games which you don't have to pick up on the Wii U. But honestly, we are getting to the stage where these games are starting to price a bunch of people out. And I think this is a pretty good idea. And then we can finish off with just a couple of other eShop games. Your classic games, your virtual console games, call them what you will. We've got Pokemon Pinball Ruby and Sapphire and Pokemon Snap. Now, I picked these games up to download a while ago because they're actually really nice and easy and convenient to play on your Wii U. I've got Pokemon Snap. I've actually got a box version on the N64. I am very happy that Kid Wassy picked this up. But actually dragging out my N64 and all of that is kind of annoying. My Wii U is just hooked up to my telly, so you better believe that I'm just playing it on my Wii U. And Pokemon Snap's a really fun game, and yes, I know we've got the version on the Switch now, and if you really want to play the version on your Switch, I ain't going to be mad at you, but it's very different is what I'm saying. The N64, it's quite a short game. It's nowhere near as in-depth as a new one, but it's still a really fun old game, and it's one that I would recommend quite highly. So honestly, when it comes to Pokemon Snap, this is something that I would be picking up. Because again, picking up an N64 version at this stage, you can do it. You can pick up an unboxed version for like 18 quid, but that's still double what you're paying on the Wii U. And frankly, playing old N64 games for most people is kind of a pain. It's not like playing an old Game Boy game where you just pick up the Game Boy, put the cartridge in. You got to have all the right leads. You got to have a suitable telly. It's actually sneaky annoying to play old consoles that aren't handheld. This is one that I would recommend. As for your Pokemon Pinball, it's just a fun pinball game, alright? I would much rather play this as a cartridge, and it's not hideously expensive. You can pick it up for like 25 quid. And maybe you should, because it's awesome. Also, I've left the original there on the screen. Not because it's available on the Wii U, just because it's really good and super cheap. If you've got a Game Boy Color and you don't have a copy of Pokemon Pinball, please sort that out as soon as you possibly can. But these are ones that I would recommend. So, the list as a whole. We got Pokemon Rumble U, which, you know, it is an exclusive game. That's the only one that is actually going to properly disappear. But then we got the Pokemon Ranger games, which are much more expensive to pick up physically. The Pokemon Mystery Dungeon games, which are much more expensive to pick up physically. And then you've got yourself maybe Poké Park, although I wouldn't necessarily recommend that. But we got Pokemon Snap and Pokemon Pinball Ruby and Sapphire. Those are the ones that I would highly recommend picking up before it's too late. Obviously, if these games don't appeal to you, don't bother. And obviously, if you've got physical versions of these games, don't bother. But otherwise, these are ones that I would recommend rather highly. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. If you've got a Wii U and you want to be playing some Pokemon games, these are the ones you need to pick up before it is too late. As a little bit of a reminder, the eShop closing down, essentially what's happening is that as of late March, which you'll notice has already passed, you cannot make purchases in Nintendo eShop for the Wii U and the 3DS. Until May, you can use a credit card to add funds to an account, and until the end of August, you can use an eShop card. After August the 29th, you just cannot add money to buy games. If you've put those codes on and you've got money in your account, you can spend it until late March. But adding funds can only be done until August the 29th, and it gets much more awkward after May the 23rd. You have been warned, ladies and gentlemen. You have been warned. And now it's over to you guys. Which of these games are you going to be picking up as fast as you possibly can? Which ones will you be ignoring? Let me know in the comment section. Go nuts. Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.